Welcome everybody to the Upstream Marketing Community Meeting. So happy to see you all on this. I only honestly remember it's Friday because of this meeting. So that's an important part of my week. It's a good association as well. How's everyone else doing?
I'm excited that it's Friday.
Same.
I also this morning was like, wait, what day is it? But I have that meeting. So I know it's Friday. Also last night. I was like, what day is it tomorrow?
Very relatable. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I mean,
well, we're cruising. What was that? Go for it, Piyush.
No, I was just saying it's Friday 9:30. I was supposed to call some friends. I gave them time 9 o'clock. Then I realized I had this meeting. So now they're coming 1 hour later.
Oh, good. Well, good. It looks like last week we celebrated in the Big Win section that the annual survey is ready. Rajula, I know you're saw the emails. You're doing a great job being on point for that. Any updates or anything you need from others to keep that cruising along?
The email is sent out, so we're gonna do Slack another email in some time. And also, I was thinking we will use the last year analysis to make some tweets from the contributor account.
Yeah.
So probably I'll just make those pull requests. Maybe you all can review it in this week.
That's great. Yeah. Oh, you could even yeah, if you want to grab any images from the graphs that resulted from it, like stuff like that makes a tweet a lot more interesting.
Yeah, and if you have any ideas, yeah, we can make new tweets.
Love it. Very
I've
cool.
been meaning to start like a tweet series of the graphs that have come from the contributor poll at some point. So
yeah,
maybe this will be a good thing to actually get me doing that.
Yeah, if we cruise through the main agenda, we can do a working session on that and just collaboratively get those out. I think it's always fun to feel like we accomplished something in a meeting. I know that's goes against the rules, but that's my favorite kind. Cool. Okay, going into other sort of campaigns, I think we can officially, looks like PSP is kaput, at least draft one. And it definitely sparked a important conversation with communicating, with getting communications out there, maybe a bit earlier next time, but it doesn't really matter. We're getting to the right conclusion. I just want to leave it on here to make sure we had room to discuss. Kaslin, how are you feeling about it? Anything we can do to help you?
Nope. I think Ian and Tabitha from security and auth, I think that respectively. I don't remember. Oh gosh, my brain on Friday morning. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, anyway. You're good. Yeah, no, you're dead on. It's in cold water.
Yep, that's correct. Yeah.
I was just not sure if my SIGs were correct. I know Ian's on SIG security. I wanted to make sure I was right on Tabitha. But anyway, Ian and Tabitha are working together on a new draft for that blog post, since they felt that they were close enough to a new solution that'll replace PSPs, that they wanted to make sure that was included. It had taken long enough anyway, might as well get that done. And like you said, it sparked a really important conversation that I think a lot of people across the project are now aware of.
And in that way, while it's absolutely not the path of least resistance or the path we thought we were going, I still feel like we did a really good marketing mitzvah, if I can use my that phrase here, because we got people talking about it and going towards the right work. So that's wonderful. But yeah, I'll remove that for next week. Great. Any other thoughts or questions or ideas around PSPs, security policy things?
I'm also hoping that I will notice when they put the new draft out and be able to help review it and stuff. Not that they really need me, but I just want to be there to support.
Yeah, I'd love to show them the support along the way. I know it definitely gets into this, more is welcome I'm sure like the blog team will get to it, and that's like one of those overlaps that I think with Taylor being busier and not being involved in our group here, we'll probably want to revisit who's kind of tracking what's going on in the blog subgroup as well of docs. For the newer folks, like we team up with them, or like their process overlaps with our process when it comes to tech review. We definitely defer to them because we're the new kids on the block. But if you've seen a PR on the website, everyone's welcome to comment and offer feedback. So
I just attended that for the first time yesterday, and potentially could be a part of that coordination. I'm interested.
Yeah,
in
Joel. Yeah, that'd be wonderful. It's really just making sure they know that we're here to support them and not to kind of be in the way. I don't feel like anyone's terribly territorial in our community, which is amazing, but just always good to have people explicitly work into make sure we're facilitating that.
Okay. I
guess specific to this PSP thing, I guess the mess, if you will, happened because the release team and the docs team and the marketing team, everybody went together, right? I believe one area where you can separate those stuff is, I mean, the way release comms is improving is we are now opting in for feature blocks, right? So we wait until everybody has said that, okay, we are going to write this feature block. And once they have done that, whatever remains is, and we think that's important, people need to be aware of, we go ahead and write it, right? That way, there are no intersections, so to say.
Can you say that one more time? Like you're saying like the way we're involved in the release team, or I'm sorry, I might have lost
Yeah,
you.
no. So the way comms is gonna work from now onwards is we would ask SIGs, whoever wants to write a blog on whatever they are doing, right, for that particular release, right? So let's say PSP is getting deprecated, and if somebody is already interested in writing it, they let us know, right, by a specific deadline. And by the time, let's say somebody is already writing it, it's good. If it's not writing it, and we think it's important, that developers should know about this change, we go ahead and write it.
Yeah, I'd love to like outline that and see if we can get people to agree to it. Because like what we did here is like Bob asked us, knowing that the people that quote unquote the ideal people to write it are too busy, and we wanted something sooner, so this group teamed up and wrote something. But that was not what people weren't ready for. That kind of like they didn't feel like they opted out, so for us to opt in before they opted out seemed backwards, and that's my impression of the events that unfolded. So I love what you're saying, Piyush, of like, what if we make that explicit, like, hey, we're asking you to opt in to write this. If we don't see a draft by X, we're going to go forward with the best possible one. Yeah, that's a really cool way to frame it. Great.
Also, I checked Tabitha is SIG security as well. So it's the two co-chairs of SIG security, and they are working together with SIG auth on the new solution.
Great.
That's what the little voice in the back of my brain was telling me, that I was wrong.
No worries. Yeah, I think there's like a larger question of like, at what point does like a deprecation become urgent? Like we thought as soon as it was listed, it's better to get ahead of it. But yeah, I don't think we quite have the collective agreement on like how do we get the word out in a way that doesn't scare more people than it supports. So anyway, interesting takeaways. I feel like we could all write a short book on events that unfold as you try to help people communicate. So great. All right, next big thing we've been up to are the contributor stories. Good news, got a pull request in for Chris's, holding off until we can load up a few others, but Chris's is in there. Piyush, I got a chance to do a copy edit of yours today. Joel, Okay, great. I incorporated your edits on mine. Thank you so much. They're really thoughtful, and you help clarify some of the wordier parts, which I always appreciate. I'm going to work on a PR for that one too. And Bob and I were talking about making like a very short announcement article that says like what is this, and have it be able to cross post on .io as well, since it has more subscribers. So I think those are the ones that I know are outstanding.
Right. And thanks for the copy editing. It looks beautiful now.
Oh, cool. I mean, I love your story. So if any of y'all haven't read it, it's worth poking around. And I love your love others' feedback on like what the strongest angle is, or yeah, no rush if you want to think about it. But I guess there are two kind of angles you could approach it from that I notice. But how are you feeling for the titling of it?
Yeah, no, I mean, it looks great, I guess. I mean, yeah, the first one pretty interesting, from Kubernetes to work to Kubernetes to play.
Cool.
That makes it very, very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, it felt related to your tone, which was like playful and enjoying yourself as you get further into your contribution. So
Yeah.
Awesome.
And everybody else, please feel free to look and edit and feedback and comment and everything.
Great. Yeah, so we can give it some time. Whenever you're ready, you could PR that in as well, and I'll get that short kickoff article out there. I think our like hard goal is to get a series going by KubeCon EU, since one of the talks that was accepted, yay team, has to do with contributor articles. So it would line up well if we had something published by then. And it also gives us some runway, which is nice.
Yeah.
But while we're on it, anyone else thinking about like stories that come to mind, or you want a workshop of like how you could say how you contribute?
I've been thinking about this, since I'm also going to be helping out with the KubeCon piece, and just in general thinking about this. I'm thinking, I saw someone on Twitter post something about their contributor journey recently, and I was like, wow, I wonder if they'd be interested in doing one of these posts. So I think I'll reach out to someone external and see if they would be interested in participating in this. Like still within the Kubernetes project, obviously, but
right,
external to our group. So I'll check with them on that. That's just something I was thinking about, wanted to share.
Great. Well, that sounds wonderful. Yeah, I think the more the merrier. And Caslin, like, I don't know, a fun angle might be like drawing your way into contributorship. Like, I feel like could
That's
be
true.
short on prose, but like you have a really fun angle of just bringing your art and creative side to this and letting it loose.
Yeah, that's a good point. I hadn't thought about that. I'm like, my story isn't very interesting.
Oh, it's very interesting.
Oh,
for
I'll
sure.
give you the link. Someone asked for the link in the chat.
Oh, great. Yeah, Caslin's art is really something. So yeah. Anyway,
My website is super humble also. It's Caslin.rocks. So. You know, humility.
Oh, that's so cool. Anyway, I'm getting distracted. Neat. All right, moving along. The Michelle Nurali interview. Bart, how's that
yes,
going on?
I will send you the draft in an hour. My chief proofreader, who's my dad, is reading it and taking it first. The thing is, it's so funny. When I was in college, my dad would always help me like just proofreading my stuff, and then we would argue about whether it needed to be this or that. And I'm a little bit rusty, so I was like, hey, can you do me a favor? So anyway, he's just waking up because he's in California. But he said he would have it to me by 9:30 California time. So
okay.
Pretty soon. Yeah,
that's great.
So just quick question. I send it to you first, then I put it on GitHub somewhere. What do I do?
Great question. There's if you're a GitHub enthusiast, you can open an issue in the website where we want to post it. So it would be the contributor site as an issue saying like, you've got this article, you're into it, and then open a PR for it. But like we're still kind of in this in-between phase where we're just tracking things in this Google Doc.
Okay.
So you could just link it in the Google Doc.
I'll do that.
Yeah. Yeah, and we can get to it asynchronously. Other people can check in.
Okay.
Yeah, and just for like the kind of ease of management and accountability, we like to say like, so who's the primary copy editor for it? I'm down. Others are welcome to if you want to have a first whack at editing. Joel, you're into it? Okay.
You got a lot going on. I'll take it.
Cool.
Okay. Thanks, Joel.
Yeah. So will I get pinged in some manner?
Yeah, I'll
Okay.
send you a message on Slack when it's going to be up there, and then I'll link it to that doc. But great, thank you.
You bet, man.
Love it. Great. Okay. Next up, we've got the Kubernetes policy comparisons. Jason said he was going to take a look at that, and he's not here this week, so no problem. It sounds like the first article is still coming out, so this would be a future hopeful article. Speaking of future, shifting Kubernetes contributors to async. Got to get Bob on that. Good. Any other article ideas? Things you've been thinking about writing or wanting to talk about? All right.
I don't think we have KubeCon on our plan list, do we?
Right. What's KubeCon? What? No, yeah, minor details.
Yeah, just like wherever you want to put it on the schedule. I just feel like that's something that's missing.
Yeah. You're thinking an article about it or like an item to talk about?
Just an item to talk about because we're going to have to do articles on it. I know that I'm thinking about the Twitter plans. I usually tweet out pretty much as I can fit as is happening in the maintainer track, which is all about contributors and focused on contributions. So try to make sure that Arcade's contributors account is promoting those talks. But it takes some planning. So, but we'll also be doing blog posts and stuff, I'm sure. And we've got several people who are speaking, which is very exciting.
Yeah. So good call. KubeCon speakers were announced and our group got kind of 2 talks accepted. Gonna paste those in.
That are explicitly about our group.
Yeah, well, exactly. Like a lot of people do that work thing too. But this one's fun. So the path to non-code contribution, Kazlan and myself will be in that one. And then Piyush, me, Chris, and I don't think we could get you on that other one, Kazlan, are going to be on another one about writing these article series. So pretty pumped that we get to share these stories, and also a healthy reminder, if you want to speak at a KubeCon, the maintainer track is when you team up with teammates here, has pretty good hit rate so far.
It's also its own separate CFP. So
yeah,
it actually had a deadline that was a little bit later than the main KubeCon, but so an opportunity to be like, oh no, I haven't done that yet, and then actually have time to finish it.
Exactly. There are those. Okay. So Kazlan, you're working on some tweets related to the show.
I usually create a plan a little too close to time, so I'm hoping I'll do that a little faster this time and maybe put them in a spreadsheet of like which I usually try to fit several sessions into one tweet. Like in this time block, there are going to be sessions about X, Y, and Z. Make sure you check it out on the schedule. And I do that for like all of the maintainer a day. So it's like we're covering all of these things today. And I usually try to plan them out according to when they're going to be going on live. Since it's EU, it's going to be obviously EU time zone, and I'm in Seattle, so I try to set these up in a separate tool from the GitHub so that they will go off on a schedule, because our Twitter Together has an issue with scheduling with the way that we do merging of new stuff into repos, because we always have to fork our repo and do the pull request from a fork, and that kind of throws off Twitter Together's scheduling thing. Rajula could probably explain this way better than I could because I don't really know what I'm talking about, but so I end up doing them separately outside of that repo, sadly, but I'll at least create a plan and probably try to show it to this group of what we're going to be tweeting for KubeCon. And I also I'm just like, hey, sign up for KubeCon leading up to the event. I sent out a tweet about the diversity scholarships yesterday. So there's a lot of things to tweet about around KubeCon, and I'm thinking about it.
Great. That sounds perfect. Anything else? I don't know. We haven't gotten into any sort of writing habits around events. Kind of speak for themselves for the most part, I'd say, but always an opportunity. If you want to interview somebody who's speaking about something interesting, that's always a nice format if you're looking to hunt down some additional content ideas. But I feel like we've got a healthy amount of stuff in progress, so I'm not too worried about it unless a request comes in. Always trying to balance that input versus just us outputting on our own. But yeah, anyone else have thoughts, feels?
I guess one more thing is about the LWKD that was last week in Kubernetes development. I guess there was a request that came to make it a part of contributor comms. I guess Bob talked about it last week, and we have this issue open. I'm not sure if you got a chance to look into it.
No, that's new to me. Anyone else?
Yeah, Bob mentioned it last week when he was leading the meeting. So that's what I know about it as well. It's just from that meeting.
Okay, cool.
But I mean, this would require a deeper discussion because a lot of things in the whole website, the Twitter, the blog, and etc. etc.
Yeah, is there any notes coming together on that, or just kind of early conversation last week?
I believe this is just really a conversation. It's just a starting of the discussion. I mean, it's gonna go long.
Yeah, all good. Sounds good to me. So NA for now. All right. Back half of the meeting, talk about improvements and start working through backlog of stuff. So updates to bots in progress. Karthik is working on the comments.
Yeah, I just posted this. So Kubeflow is interested in our Twitter board once we have the new feature where from issue to a pull request. So yeah, Karthik is working on it. Once it's done, yeah, we'll have a bot used by more than us, more than just static.
Seems to have inspired some folks. People seem excited about it, which I think totally makes sense. It's a very exciting new feature.
Yeah, absolutely. Incredible.
Now
Good to
someday-
see some support.
Someday we'll fix the scheduling issue as well.
Love that Cube flows into it. That's really exciting. Cool. Okay. Normally do calendar walk or just double check to see if there's anything outstanding. Outstanding as in needed to happen, not outstanding as in great. There's a ton of outstanding things. Any anything stand out to people of action items we should be taking or work that needs to get done?
I wanted to check with Piyush if you have some release content that we need to push from our Twitter account.
Yeah, I guess nothing as of now. We have got the deadline done. We have got people signing up or opting in for the blogs and all those things. So yeah, I think we are good on that front. Once things started getting finalized, once those blogs are in place, probably we can give them a shout out.
Nice.
Awesome. All right. I think that brings it toward the tail end of the tail end. So if we want to live write some tweets, Caslin, if you're looking for some support doing that, we could do some live copy editing. Does that sound of interest, or do you want to get 20 minutes back? Either way.
I'm gonna have to like go through the KubeCon schedule to plan out those like future tweets of promoting all of the maintainer track sessions. One story I did kind of want to tell about Twittering. Like several weeks ago, I put in several tweets to the repo for tweeting, and I messed up one of them. I'm not a great Gitter. It's not my tool of choice. And I submitted one where I accidentally had one of the other tweets in the same PR, and I had to delete it because I wanted them all to be separate PRs. And apparently that caused problems. And one of the tweets is still stuck in a state where it has a label from our Prowbot saying needs rebase. So I worked with Bob together on that yesterday. And we tried to work out what was going on, and it's still stuck there. It seems like a bit of a mess. So I'm not super concerned about getting that one unstuck. I can always do it manually. But we're trying to figure out how I got into that state and like make sure that if that has any implications on like guidance of how we help other people who are not very familiar with Git use our Twitter repo. Hopefully the issue to PR thing will totally eliminate this problem, but we are figuring that out.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to troubleshoot it. I think, but to answer your question, I think the solution to that will be that people don't have an interface to mess with the Git side. But yeah, still, if this can break catastrophically, we could, probably as maintainers, we should figure that out. That looks fun.
I'm also really good at breaking source control, so
I would endorse you on LinkedIn for that. That sounds great.
It's a skill everyone of us has.
I was a quality assurance engineer, not a developer.
Yeah.
I mean, I develop scripts, but I break things more than I make things.
Break things more than I make things. I like that. Okay, so that would be in which repo? In the Twitter together
It's in the Twitter one, yes. I could find the link to it, but you can probably.
Is it the 35 pull request? Upcoming removals.
Yeah, that one. We worked on it a bit yesterday and created a new commit for it and squashed some things, and it still seems angry. So we're still looking into that, but I'm not super concerned about it, like I said.
You say 35?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry.
For those playing along.
One of you will probably be like, oh, you just did this really ridiculous thing. And I'll be like, yep, sounds like me.
Oh yeah, things get so funky once you rebase because I'm like, the proud comment is above. Wait, no, it said it needed a rebase.
Yeah, it needed a rebase before.
Oh,
And
before,
then we
okay.
tried to do a new commit to fix the needs rebase, and it didn't quite work out. Granted, we didn't spend all that long on it, but Bob is pretty pro at this, so hopefully it's not just me being completely ridiculous. But
I
also,
just added the LGTM label and approved it. I think it should be fine now.
is that what? I think it still needs the rebase tag to go away because it won't submit it unless that tag goes away. It already had
There's
an
no
LGTM.
the needs label, needs rebase is not there in the labels.
Yeah,
Oh,
it looks like it
good.
got removed
Yeah.
already from your
Okay.
last push. So
We looked at it right after that push and for a few minutes after, and it didn't go away yet. So we were wondering if there was something we could do to trigger the bot to look at it again. Okay, so that's good to know. It was just that it was slow at taking away that label after we had done the rebase. Interesting.
yeah, I think there's a rerun command as well. I'd have to look up the exact syntax.
Ah, that would be
But-
useful to know about. So this
Yeah,
is all stuff that I will put into, well, I would put into a
bot
Twitter
commands.
guide at some point, but we're going to have that
Yeah,
create
retest.
PR from issue thing eventually. So, but thank you all very much for helping me figure out what was going on with that.
Yeah, no worries. Rebase. So yeah, the rebase tells me that the Git
The
history
tweet
got.
is out now. Sorry.
Oh, you're good.
Sorry. I'm just saying the pull request got merged. The tweet is out.
Great. Problem solved.
Cool. Yeah, I would bet that the commit history got out of whack. Like if you need to rebase, it means like you have a nonlinear commit history. I'm probably saying something you already know and you don't know how you got there, so I'm not adding any value and I'll stop speaking now.
Well, this is going to be publicly available recording, so someone out there might not understand what it means. So this is important.
Cool. Yeah, good. Valid point.
Also,
That's
it's
awesome.
still new to me, so hearing the repetition helps me.
If you ever need to feel great, like there's a very funny Vimeo of like a dozen people trying to troubleshoot Git, and they're just saying all the keywords that you've ever heard. It's like we say contributing to open source is easy, and we just skip right over how complex Git can be.
I am such a rookie at it, Caslin. I appreciate your willingness to dive in and make things happen, even if it results in the occasional breakage. So thank you, Caslin.
Welcome, and we're excited to have you.
Very much so. Yeah.
We want this to be easy and fun for everyone.
Yeah, and the less Git foo required, the better. I love it because it's the right kind of masochism. I know we all have the thing.
I actually just ordered a Git cheat sheet to use as my mouse pad after this.
Yeah, I like that it's a tool that has like an easy mode, but as soon as you get out of it, like you could spend like a PhD's worth of time trying to figure out how it was built and how it works. Like, feels like a game, a very complex game. I'm just seeing blank stares. I'm gonna stop outing myself as a Git enthusiast.
If you use a Visual Code Studio, you should use that for the Git, so you can actually see it not as a terminal way, but in a graphical way. It helps.
Yeah. Well, good. I think that wraps it up. So I'm going to stop the recording. Thanks all.